24.5% of unemployment, and about 800,000 of those is undergraduate. Most of the businesses that are funded by venture capital companies are mostly started by university students. So our university, they don't have programs that promote entrepreneurship. So we started PBC to promote entrepreneurship, to create job opportunities. Students, what they are looking for is funding. Venture capital companies are looking for ideas. And PBC is opportunity. It's an industry-based implicant that takes students and introduce them to venture capital companies. We've got learning programs. We've got about eight divisions that focuses in all entrepreneurial studies. Engineering students, they are only taught mechanical stuff, electrical stuff, and civil stuff. They are not taught business, but that means the universities are not preparing them for cases of them not finding a job. So within universities, we are running innovation clubs that promote this innovation and that introduce them to entrepreneurship. We've got classes that run Monday to Friday within universities. And by next year, we are planning to go into 25 universities in South Africa. The one in Pentec, it has been tested. We have adopted schools in Khayelitsha. We have adopted businesses in Khayelitsha. And then these students, they get to apply what they learn in class, because this is another thing. You have students from Eastern Cape coming down this side to study. And then at the end of the day, they'll be forced to go back without applying what they have learned. Most of these graduates, they go and work in Boxer. Somebody who studied marketing and engineering, Boxer or Shoprite. And they'll end up, for the rest of their lives, they'll be doing that. But PBC, it gives them opportunity to interlink, to network, because we've got networking session every Friday in each university. And then September time, we get to introduce these students to venture capital company. At the moment, we've got one venture capital company that is working with us. We've got two businesses that we have merged in one university, and one student.
How do you make money? I really like it. How do you do it?
Okay. We are currently working with two lawyers. And then these lawyers are protecting students' intellectual properties. So from each idea of a student, PBC gets 5%. So that means now if you take Facebook, because most of the companies that are listed in the United States market are mostly started by students at the university level. So you can just imagine in the next few years if PBC can own about 5% of all students in all universities across South Africa. And that's a lot. That's a lot.
I hear you talk about universities, students, also high school level. But then I'm that entrepreneur, all natural to be entrepreneur. Where to put myself? I want to be in this program. I don't have all of these fancy things that you mention, like to hook up with you. But then I'm staying in location in Khayelitsha. I want to be in this program. I want to be hooked up in your company. I'm not educated, but then I'm a natural born entrepreneur. Where do you put me in your program?
Currently planning to expand to townships, but we can only do this with the support of government. Because currently in Pentec we'll be running innovation competition, and then the first prize is 20,000 for students to get to pitch their ideas. But now for us to expand to townships, we are going to need sponsors. If we can get government on board, then that's when we can come to township and get these guys in the township who are not working to come up with ideas to develop their community, and then at the same time try to generate money for them. We can start to make it, start at first as a competition, have classes maybe once or twice a week, then you'll be covered.
Firstly, I like your sneakers though. So you mentioned quite a large number of students that you have within, I'm assuming it's a database, yeah? And you guys literally just take 5% of equity from each and every business that is coming onto your platform. How are you surviving now? That's why I mentioned your sneakers. How are you surviving now?
I'm actually CPUT because if I can tell you now, in the past I've been winning innovation competitions. CPUT, ever since they started with their innovation competition, I've been scooping the first prize. Western Cape, I did the same thing. I've been taking the first prize in the DDAT competition that they had. In the past few months, I also won first prize in TIA funding, seed funding. So there are a lot of ideas, but now we are just trying to show these students that ideas are there. We are privileged to be in South Africa. We are privileged to be in Africa. We've got a lot of problems. Solution can be turned into a business model.
And this is a piece of advice, use it or don't use it. The biggest, and your biggest pot of gold is the people that you have in your database. And to me, I do not understand why you're not making money from having that amount of entrepreneurs, or whatever the case may be, in your database, because that's your equity, that's your pot of gold. And if you were able to then take it a step further to say, this is what it is that we're doing, this is how we're supporting entrepreneurs, go to a company and say, look, I've got 20,000 of these guys sitting. What have you got that can be able to speak to these guys? And for me to be that middle person, this is how much I will charge you. With that type of a number, I know for a fact that there's so many other companies that want to get into varsities. Just to speak to the people that you have already. Why are you not capitalizing on that? Why are you going into competitions when you've got a pot of gold that is sitting in your laptop?
First question that I have for you is that I see you mentioning Pentech, and it's actually CPUT nowadays. So my first question is that, are you only focusing on the Belco campus, or are you focusing on the whole CPU, whole of CPUT? This year actually, it's quite amazing. This year, I looked at my first year or my second year as an alumni. I looked at what is happening in the university at home. And I actually work for University of Stellenbosch Business School, and I see the difference between the two institutions, how big the gap is when it comes to taking care of people who've been at the university, when it comes to CPUT and tapping into companies. So I think it's just a word of advice to you that you should most probably try to work with the Career Services Office at CPUT, because if I could say it, it's non-existent. So you just help them maybe to try and source companies to come, and look for students, because there are companies looking for students there at CPUT, but they do not have the necessary middlemen to try and do that. Yeah.
Just to add on that, we also have a division that places students. Now we actually placed about 4 students, and one of them, he got a permanent post. And these students are actually placed without interviews, because if you are a PDC member, either with business or you as an individual, you are backed for life, backed up for life. You don't have to worry about legal fees. You don't have to worry about getting a job, because we can place you. We are also going, our company is going to take 10 students for in-service training. And University of Technologies in South Africa, they're actually failing to place students for in-service training. You take Pentech, for example, CPUT, mechanical engineering students. There are students who can sit for 4 semesters without finding a place to do their in-service. Companies are just not taking that. So we start companies, and then we take these students to train them so that they can get their diplomas. Thank you.
Excuse me, just one last question, my friend. I don't know if there's another one behind this, but yeah, excellent business model, and hello. I think my one concern is just finding out, you're taking the first prize on every business competition. I assume they're not each week or each month. So your margins on a monthly basis and the profitability of the business on a monthly basis. Because I think that's one of my concerns in asking each month, how profitable is the business? What are the margins of this business? If you're currently relying on taking the first prize. And the last one is, please stay behind. I'd like to learn how to do that too.
it's a pool for venture capital companies. So by September, we are going to start about 10 companies for students. That's CPUT alone. Currently, we have started 2, and I happen to own 40% in those companies. We also have high-tech products that are coming into the market next year. So I'm currently working with Electronics Lab, and then they are manufacturing our smart USBs, which are going to enter and taper the market next year. And then we also have smart devices that we have designed, and this is just for PVC, because we get time to sit as PVC members to design products, not for our companies or our businesses, but for PVC. So PVC is also making its own thing, and then companies within PVC are also doing their own thing. And then if you are a member, because you get a student who has a nice lucky idea, but it needs IT, then you are doomed because you know nothing about IT. But within PVC, you'll get somebody, you'll sign a confidentiality letter because we've got 2 lawyers, so we are covered. That guy, so your intellectual property remains your intellectual property, and then we'll try to work our heads out to come up with a nice legal strategy to take your business further.
I would like you to please share with the guys the one idea that you have done and it's worked, and right now it's already in the markets. Thanks.
And it's what we call a smart USB. What it does, you are in a university, we happen to lose USB a lot of times with assignments, thesis, you name them. But now our USB, the one that we have designed, if you leave, you exit a 2-meter range, it automatically locks itself and it sends a signal to your phone. If you don't use a phone, it's a wristband based, we have a wristband based flash drive. So that if you leave a piece, because the flash you take it out of this wristband, which also happens to be a watch, and then if you leave it behind, then this bracelet is going to start vibrating, and then it's telling you that you have left your USB.